case study that I'm currently working on with that organization in the transforming their marketing, global marketing team. This is Fortune 500 your FNCG group. So I've been helping them for last 1.5 year. So in a complete transformation in business agility in their marketing team. So apart from that, I'm also working in other regions, teaching agile marketing courses, also supporting coaching. So let me share the screen and let's have more observation on the discussion side of it. And I'll be very happy if you guys will ask me questions, because I love questions. And I hope that I'll be able to add value to your learning. So again, from the journey of what we have, of course we have a time box of 40 minutes, 45 minutes, but I'll make sure that in 45 minutes we at least get something feasible learning for ourselves. For mission that I've come across is two missions: to understand what agile marketing journey can be and how it can connect to business agility, because everyone has been talking about business agility, but how do you expect business agility to happen if other functions apart from IT even not aware how it should work, and sometimes forcefully adoption is something not right way of adopting it, and that creates so much challenge. So we'll look at that perspective one. And second is applying agile way of thinking. How do you think about the mindset side of it, again on the context of customer segmentation. If sorry, my throat is a bit bad. Last 3 weeks I'm constantly training, so extremely sorry for that. So the biggest problem in any marketing team, from big 2000 people team to small 5 people team, is understanding the customer segmentation, their needs, and the challenges that they have, and their uh, different choices, and also how they make choices. And also there is one concept in marketing which is called zero moment truth, when they will take decision, and how do you reduce the chance of taking right decision. How do you reduce the time frame when they take right decision. So again, the concept of marketing, if you think from that level, it's more towards strategic rather than processes, more towards mindset. Okay, so let me give you some very familiar keywords that I know everyone will be comfortable if you're not from directly marketing, but you guys will be knowing about this, right? Research, product, overall flexibility, early realization value, improved relationship, right? We are very comfortable with these keywords, right? What are these? You can unmute, so I'll be very happy if you guys unmute and try
Goals.
to add. What are
They're
these?
all, these are all the goals to achieve.
Yes,
Sprint
that means
goals.
it might be part of organization goal, it might be part of team goal. This is the reason why we are going in agile way, why we are trying to predict into more adaptive way of prediction rather than based on very predictive analysis. We are trying to figure out how we can go as close as possible, right? That is based on estimation. All the estimations that we talk about in our class, also in CSMs also, that is never perfect, right? That is as close as possible. So from the business context, the goals are same, right? If you talk about the same keyword for marketing team, also these challenges are same. They also have to understand what is the productivity and what is the quality, right? They have to understand how to make the changes, and they also have to anticipate investment of return of investment, engagement, and how they will create the structure and team. Now, if these things are very similar, again, as Suresh has mentioned, right? Agile started, the whole journey started outside IT in the management approach, then it went to IT completely. But in the midway, they lost so much structure and dimension. The reason is the popularity of how it has been applied, how the learning, the mindset has been applied, or how the philosophy has been applied to different function. IT has been very, very successfully applying this and getting more value. And the problem for other departments, if we are talking about agile outside IT today, because I'm more involved into other teams also, the problem is they have not realized that top-down approach should be eliminated as soon as possible, because the control theory was different. Here in IT team, it will be more flexible because the control theory was different. That is the only reason from a management structure they could not. Now, when you see that IT has moved so fast, you are not able to catch up. Now, people have realized that this is time to understand what is business agility, understand why other functions also need to know few of the practices and need, because the problems are same, right? Now, the question is, do you think we have lost so much time? Of course, we have lost. If you think the concept of agile marketing in that context is around 2010 2011 started, and it started as in a cubicle, in a cubicle, applying and trying to test and scale. But the problem is it created that knowledge side of it. Apart from that organization, no one knew. And in my journey also, when I was working with early express group, one function, marketing function, completely applied agile practices because their IT functions were already doing it. But that knowledge was only limited to organization. That is the biggest problem, that created the barrier for other teams to grow. And it's very, very challenging as a practitioner, both from IIT and outside IIT, that they could have got early realization of value if they have known. Okay, in the same context, I think everyone will be comfortable with this keyword, right? We know. We talk about VUCA world, we talk about the whole environment, we talk about uncertainty, we talk about complexity. Now, if technology is evolving and if customers are evolving, the challenge for every individual in the whole organization is same. Now, you can debate with me, you can ask me questions, but as you think of the role, the complications of the role is increasing as you go on every day. Now, the problem is, in the context of effect and demand and drivers. Okay, this is something very, very practical, not only for marketing, but from a marketing perspective, I want to take you through. Is one is, what is the driver, why we are trying to adopt any practices or trying to understand those practices. Maybe from that we have to understand the drivers of why we need. So there is one book by Simon, that is Start With Why. It talks about why change dynamics is needed, why change of rate of speed is needed, right? And how it will affect if you don't apply those. It's not about your agile implementation or any kind of implementation that you might be doing in organization. Understanding why something needs to be changed, that is something very, very important if you have to understand the environment that we are working on. And because the reason is, it will affect something. Affect, I mean, it will increase the risk, it will increase the instability, it will create a flux kind of environment for you, for not only you, for the dependent metrics that you might have created. And in that same context, what we need the vision. And vision is also not from a long term perspective, maybe short term visions. And in that vision, your more approach is to take action, right? We talk about planning is no more important than plan, right? What you execute, what you deliver, right? That is a value we are trying to create. So from that context, it demands completely different approach altogether, that you can see in your teams also. If you are being a scrum master, you can see these are very, very relevant. But from a marketing perspective also, it really adds so much value. How vision is okay, from the understanding perspective is about the role is so diverse, and also understanding the customer is so much important for all the marketers, right? Customer segmentation is really diverse now, choices are diverse. So again, uncertainty will of course will increase, right? Unpredictability, potential surprises, and there will be unknown outcomes. And in that concept, what the problem is understanding of the challenges. We normally the team normally faces challenge in understanding the wider perspective of things. And that normally creates knowledge side because the reason already complexity, that means lack of focus, flexibility and creativity is not there. And marketing is something which is much more fit for empirical kind of thing. If you talk about empiricism, marketings and also sales, they're more empirical because it is not a straight line that you have to draw. You have to experiment and learn from the experience. And in the same context, there is need of agility, right? flexible decision making, innovation, accountability, and also understanding the concept, understanding the vision side of it, and understanding the customer side of it. Today, we'll consider one small part of it, that means customer segmentation. That's why I try to add this part, because the dimension is huge. If you talk about, I'll show you one framework that I have created and I'm implementing to implement in to multiple organizations, Fortune companies I'm directly working with in marketing, I mean, complete transformation. So I'll share you that, and you'll see how much complex it is. Of course, it's not as simple as Scrum. Okay. Now, in the same context, why do you think we should go for that kind of change or that kind of approach in agile in marketing? Why we need to support them in the journey, even if we know how it would be valuable for you, why it's relevant for you, how you should also go as a become a change agent in your organization, supporting your marketing team, also making them at least aware that okay, there is something different you can apply, maybe experimentation phase, maybe. Okay. The biggest reason is because of the challenges of VUCA world, right? The survival of even the Fortune 500 companies, if you see in that context, if you see 2000, data, it will be disrupt data. And even here, only 20, 10, around 8 to 10, 12% survive. That means either we are not building right product, of course that is different, or we are not able to reach right customer for our product. Now, have we thought, we have been talking about building right products, right? Now, how do you ensure that that right product reaches to the customer? Even product, talk about a product which is built as a SaaS based model, or built as a product model, or a physical product, or anything you may call it, right? Because of the technology change in dynamics of search engine, and also relevancy of data, this has really disrupted the way we look at marketing, the way we look at people, the way we look at customer, completely changed, right? In the same context, because if we don't understand that change from that dynamics at the organization level, uh, again, organization span is getting low as possible. I mean, you cannot imagine the extent it has gone down. I mean, tremendously it is going down. And in 2025, the research is, it's the life of every organization is 10 years if they don't evolve, if they don't innovate, if they cannot reach the right people. That is something is based on data. That is something constantly people are looking at. That's why you see so many organization struggling in COVID situation. You must have seen how one disruption created so much conflict and also disrupted the whole industry altogether. So many industries are completely shut down. So that is something will come up. That is something which is unpredictable, and which will come up. But what will do as an organization? What is the solution? Do we have any respite of it? Can we do something different for reaching to the right customer, making sure that our marketing function also knows how we want to value? Yes. The reason is why I'm talking about is, have you heard about a company called Oculus Rift? Facebook has bought it. They are into VR. So I had a training with them last year, December. So very interesting bunch of people. So very small group, very productive group. Just imagine what they have done is, in 14 months they reached 1 billion market cap. How? They had a very good product, but how they have reached? How they have reached towards the business outcome or business goal? They reached to the right customer. And then what normally it takes 20 years, say typical Fortune companies, if you see over WhatsApp also almost 2 years, right? Snapchat 22 months. They've completely changed the approach you look at business. ROI or a business agility. This is business agility, nothing else, right? If you completely can change the approach of, getting revenue, what else do you need? Okay. In the same context, I've been discussing with them, and of course, it's a small training only, not consulting. And what I have understood in that approach, in their approach, is all their function from building, designing to ideating product to planning for specific customer segment for a specific product. They're already into agile way. I mean, now their mindset is already agile. You don't need anything, you just need more innovation, you don't just need more accountability in that context of those things. That's it. I mean, that is I felt an utopian kind of environment for anyone to work, you know. That kind of environment only helps. How that is possible when everyone knows what is the journey is all about. Okay. And now the biggest problem is our traditional approach of marketing that we see is something so top down, so I mean structured and so command and control based. Sometimes you don't realize what is the difference between agile marketing and traditional marketing. I had very difficult time explaining VP and uh, CMO. They're like, oh, wow, we are doing same way. You don't care about this thing, all the nonsense, and we are doing that. You have no clue about what we are doing. Again, at last, the strategies does not work. The reason are uh, we think whatever we are doing is perfect way. In marketing, that is something you cannot avoid. Every marketing team member, every marketing team in the whole world, they feel they are doing their best. The problem is big bang strategy. If you talk to any planning or any structuring, they will plan for 6 to 8 months directly. In any product marketing, if you talk about, they will plan 6 to 8, 10, 20 products at a time, bigger releases at that point of time. Then they will test, then they will campaign, big launch they will do, and again, new big strategy. That means if you think in that context, is completely, if you can relate to this with waterfall approach, you'll know where they're making mistake, right? Any suggestion, anyone wants to add anything, can you relate to waterfall here, guys? Anyone, do you think you can relate to waterfall?
Very much.
Thank you. So now, what is agile marketing from a strategic perspective, from a direction perspective, maybe in that context? What do you think? What we are doing, trying to do differently, is trying to be more iterative cycle, small plans, plan, design, launch, measure. Insight you'll have. I mean, how you overcome and what exactly you have done. Okay. You'll focus on the small strategies, small strategies. Based on that, you'll create. Then again, based on that, you'll have one learning curve. That is our retrospect kind of approach. And this learning curve is very short. It can be 1 day also. I mean, because you are releasing to say 2000 customers, one campaign you have released and all a social platform as well as email marketing, your learning curve is only 1 day. You can stop for 1 day and you can review the data and you change the strategy according to that need and you adjust it. Continuously you will evolve. And the biggest addition and that I've seen is with this approach that we have been following and the approach that I've been discussing here is you will have one specific time where you will also can decide if you like to continue with this approach or try something else. Remove it, try something else based on the learning experience. That means the structure you will create yourself for the team. I mean, you cannot say that this is the framework for marketing, this is the perfect framework for marketing. No, it will evolve. Just imagine how I mean evolvement or continuous learning you have to go through to sustain this kind of approach, and how the team individual also evolve in the same journey. Okay. And in the same context of it, it's about traditional marketing is all about big ideas, big bang launch, big budget. Okay, the budgeting and the structuring. And in the same context, agile marketing micro strategies, big insight, information clarity. That is something, I mean, we don't want to create knowledge silo at this level. Everyone will have a correct information so that there is no confusion, no conflict, and also rapid iteration. If you need, you have to be ready to release in 1 day also. That is a big change, right? That is something is based on the need of the different teams. Say marketing as a function needs that kind of flexibility where they can release in one day also. And how do you think that will happen now? If your planning is that big bang, so how do you expect that to happen, Any question, guys? Can you relate to it? Do you think, okay, might be the approach is more towards what we see in Scrum also, might be directly cannot be same as Scrum, but slightly can you relate to this, guys? I want everyone to interact a bit so that I'll also, yeah, you can unmute yourself and speak. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
can
Yeah.
you give some example? Is it possible to give an example? Because for
Okay,
me, bit
perfect.
up to
So now, perfect. So here is your marketing plan for 6 months is 20 new products launch you are doing. I'm talking about product marketing. And based on that, 20 products, 20 dimension, you'll have 20 different products, and you'll create strategies based on the product, their qualities, create brochure, create email marketing, create other digital media, and everything you will create, and you'll launch it, and you'll create campaigns based on that, all the products. And then you'll review at the end after 6 months how the product have done after all the product have been released. This is big one. Okay, this is something most of the marketing teams from a FMCG structure they are doing. And if the brand has reached towards that extent, the product is successful. Say for example, if I give you one example, so have you heard about Henkel, organization called Henkel, right? So they, in adhesive, and they have other products also, they release 20 different adhesive products, right, for different customer segments, for example. Now they are planning for all the 20 products at the same time releasing to the market. Okay, their strategies are also straightforward, plain like that, and they will get to know if they're effective enough at the end of the 6 months. Okay,
okay.
now what we are doing here is, here we are structuring it. What is my small strategy, little strategy is, I have 5 different adhesive which is for industries, one industry level 1, industry 2, that are based on the data. You already have data structure. Based on that, these are the highest level customer segmentation. So we are only creating strategy for 5 highest possible value outcome products. Okay, then you plan launch, then you'll have learning curve, how people have responded. Say for example, you have a product which has say weight is really high, people don't want to buy that much value product. Say for example, I'm talking about adhesive, right? Is consumer people, they don't want to buy 1 kg adhesive, right? But if it is commercial, then of course they will buy it. So how do you segment that? You learn from your experience. So you build small for your one segment, that is home, right? Customer segment also, that means you have changed the strategy, adjusted it, and you have done one more iteration. Not only these products, but you'll add more value based on this experience that you already had. And this is very practical experience. I've already done it, and it has really given that kind of value and data, and that kind of people are appreciating what they need, they are getting it. Now the cycle is smaller, 15 days to 30 days. Sometime it can be as simple as, of course production time will take time, I'm not talking about that, but release, how they want to release it, how they want to add more value, that is something you already have a product idea. And some organization already structuring those things parallelly as they are creating products in that category, so that is something that I've seen a lot of value. That is where you don't have to worry about all the 20 products, 5 products. You are ensuring that all the segment, customer segment, from that you are getting higher revenue. Perfect. And the problem is, if you go on 20 products, you only have 5 successful products. And that also is very conflicting. After 6 months, you will know. That is the very base level. I mean, if I have to give you a very base level example, that is something is happening,
Yeah,
right?
great. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, traditional marketing 6 month to 1 year, right? Cadence is 2x. Execution is reset. Because fixed execution, that means you have set up targeted brand structure, brand dimension. Your customer segment are also more heavy on structuring, because your customer target segment is not much more specific. It's very ambiguous sometimes. And in agile, we try to be more creative, real time experience. That means what exactly this customer segment is the highest possible value for us will add more value, how they will add more value. And from the asset perspective, artifacts, images, video, tagline, now it's fresh content. Every point of time when you feel that this is not working, we'll close it and we'll replace it as soon as possible. As soon as I have some conflict, I have any challenges on anything that goes out, I'll change it. I'm that much flexible, and team are also comfortable to accept that kind of challenge. They're already planning according to that. Okay, in a broad, from a process structure, these are the high level changes that you expect. And I have one small, very small exercise for you in the concept. Whatever we have learned, I mean, whatever we have gone through, I have a very small exercise for you, if you guys don't mind. So I'm sharing you uh, one code is there. Go to menti.com and apply that code, and what exactly you feel and why exactly you feel that the approaches that we have been talking, the approaches that of course we'll be discussing further right now, based on your current understanding of whatever we have discussed, what do you think, how your team right now can add value with this much information? We have not got into any depth, just for the sake of understanding your context. You also have seen your marketing team. How do you feel, how they want to, how they can also add value to whatever they are doing? Very quick exercise, around 5 to 10 seconds. Just use the code and write any keywords, whatever you like to add. Go to menti.com, apply that code, and you'll come to this page already. Yeah. If you have already done, so I'll try to refresh the page. If you have added anything, let me see. Perfect. Okay. Waste, quick customer feedback, creative value for customer, faster time, flexibility, course correction, perfect, adaptability, easy to change. Wow, great. Thank you so much. That means uh, everything we whatever keywords, whatever value that we are trying to see is everything that we also need, they also need, right? Same. Our responsibility cycle might be different, but the things that we are looking for is same. The value that we are looking for at the organization level is same. And this is one perfect example of business agility, how you can connect at different team level, how can structure a different team, and how you can align the goals of teams. Perfect, thank you so much for this. And I'll make sure that I'll get a screenshot and send it to Suresh, and you can again check. Again, this is not just to see it. I want you to go and explore it and understand how it will make sense, and try to talk to your marketing team members also to explain, do you think these are the challenges that you have, do you think these things will solve your problem, in that concept also. I'd like you to go back and talk. That's how you lead the organization, that's how you support other functions. Thank you so much. Now again, we'll come to this point. This is one of the most interesting point. I normally I take it, I mean, we talk about mindset, we talk about values, we talk about principles, we talk about philosophies. But how does those philosophies direct you for what kind of action? That means, what are the triggers for those philosophies, values, principles? Where are the triggers, right? So for marketers, the triggers has to be well directed. Okay, otherwise it will not make an impact. Okay, so first trigger is we are customer focused. Now, customer focus, everyone knows, every marketing team. Now, specific of customer, that basic specific segment to go into user story level. I mean, one specific user segment level. Even if I mean, that data or your intuition or your AI shows that he is only 5% potential customer. That is also one of the customer, now, one customer segment. You cannot avoid anyone, because you cannot predict decisions based on your data, because the need is completely ambiguous. Anyone can need any product or any services at any level. Okay, and the needs might change very soon. I don't need right now phone, my phone broke, I have to buy one new phone tomorrow. Right? Again, that ambiguous. We create value, we experiment and learn, we break things, and that is okay. We collaborate, we are empowered, we are transparent, we unlearn and relearn, we welcome change, we learn from failure. Now, this is what we need direction for, that mindset. Say, everyone talks about mindset. What kind of mindset you need? You need me to focus into only one thing. Okay, I'll only focus into one thing. I'll not think something else. That means you have killed his ideation, right? How do you ensure that the mindset is leading to value? Otherwise it's useless, right? So this is one approach which is very critical. How you want to take that mindset into what kind of approach, what are the directions of the mindset, how do you trigger what kind of things, how do you convey those triggers? Okay, and if you play the role of a scrum master also, these triggers are very critical in some way, so you will also relate to that. Okay, now there are pillars. Focus on what is important to customer. Create small cross-functional team. You need a very good team. I'll have one small case map that I'll show you how team dynamics changes everything. And create discipline process, short cycle, because the process has to be very disciplined, because the dependency cycle is very high in marketing. And create a culture of data and experimentation, because this is something is you can never avoid. Whatever you have learned from your past experience based on analytics and data, that is something will make your strategies, make your estimation towards I mean, more clearer estimation, from maybe from clouds to real world, communicate often and effectively. These are the pillars. Apart, you have given the direction of the mindset, okay, but you also need pillars. Without this you cannot function. Okay, and this is one of the most interesting journey that I have gone through. It's touch point. I mean, touch point is based on the concept. I call it triggers. That is one book called Triggers by Marcel Goldsmith. I highly encourage everyone to read that. And every individual's trigger point to decide something is different. And in the base of that same dynamics, their awareness, consideration, purchase, their moment of truth of perception, moment of truth of decision making is different. And for that, the customer journey itself is different completely. One is digital, one is physical. Okay, from peer, radio, word to mouth, direct mail, right? Agent broker, call center, so many other things, right? These are physical touch point. And you have digital touch points also. Just a minute. Okay, perfect. Don't worry. What I'll do is I'll write an email. I'll add an email with the books also. So the name of the author is Marcel Goldsmith. The name of the book is Triggers. Triggers. Okay. So every trigger might, why we need trigger? Because you expect them to do something. Of course, you expect that is what you can do, but trigger points can be different. So for example, I only respond in email. So if I have not introduced this trigger point in my campaign or in my strategy, I might lose a potential customer, right? if some say for example, I'm very traditional kinds of buyer, and I like to have more, maybe more talking to the person before I decide. I need to talk to someone about authenticity, about the product quality, then I'll decide, right? So how do you create this kind of customer journey? And that is something based on specific customer segmentation. That is the core subject of any marketing, agile marketing team. That means if they have to learn something, one thing they have to learn right away before they want to practice anything big bang is this. Okay, now when you talk about journey of customer, it directly translates to data, right? What kind of data we are expecting? We know, okay, fine, we understand the touch points. The problem is, how do you expect that those touch points you will reach, and also you will also understand that that is also giving you value quickly? You will need that kind of analysis, data structuring. Also, there is one, I mean, you must be aware, I worked with Sprinkler before. I mean, before changing my job, my previous assignment was Sprinkler. I helped to create one intuition engine based on customer journey map. Based on that, based on what customer is typing right now, based on those keywords, based on their choices, it will directly show what kind of touch point they want, they are comfortable with. So it's very interesting journey that can only be possible if you can understand the customer data. That means behavior, intention, psychographic, demographic, brand and product conversation. What are the conversation at that level? Say for example, consumer. I mean, if I talk about consumer product, sorry, I'm using consumer product because the most of my experience has been direct consumer product in FMCG, and also done in other scope, but that has really been successful. Now, household product, you have different segment of customers, right? And based on their product conversion, say for example, this kid level, I mean, for category of kid, they normally use this only, they don't go for any other segmentation. So how do you create that kind of conversation for that kind of user category? Okay, reference sharing, location, these are, we are very clear and aware, right? And why I'm put these two as I mean, complete change factor, I mean, change dynamics in that perspective for customer data is psychographic is something which will make them to decide. I mean, that is part of artificial intelligence plus emotional intelligence, how you can balance these two worlds in that context. And demography is something is focus on data. These two things you cannot work on without having correct information or correct data, and that is not manual, of course. Your system, your structuring, your application, or anything that you build will support. Okay, now in the context of the whole journey that I have experienced is, if you have to create different customer segment, and I would like to go to case map, and because I know the time boxing, and I'll also if you have any question, I'm happy to answer those also. I want to give you through what exactly happened, and in one to transformation, in complete transformation, more than 2000 people in that kind of transformation. Not only marketing function, but also their consultant function is also reached and aligning to the goal and observations there. So I'd like to share that experience. First is, first thing that I think, then I try to introduce change is killing this silo, different silos, different teams, and making it more close and more interconnected link. And why I did it, there are so many reasons for that, and they are not ready for it because their structure and functions are so much into top down. And uh, when we created a team like this, okay, this brand marketing team member was not comfortable with creative marketing team member. There was so much conflict because their approach of work is so dynamic, so different. Okay, but again, it solves what we call Brooks law. Okay, we have only 6 to 8 people in the team, and every function will try to make sure that their relationship, their alignment, their cross-functional abilities, their T-shaped capabilities, they're increasing continuously. So now, if you talk about marketing core right now in any organization, if someone is from brand marketing, he has very clear objective about being brand marketing, but PR and legal stuff, he has no clue. That will create that has created a knowledge silo, and that is not helpful, because when you talk about small strategies, small things matter. So we started to align the teams differently. Very difficult in 2 months. I mean, very conflict, because everyone's knowledge is very. I mean, at highest level in their own context. If you talk about brand marketing, this person has highest level of knowledge that is expected, and creative marketing, he has that highest level of expectation. Because of expectation mismatch, and there is no respect. Again, the 5 values of Scrum comes in. Of course there is conflict, and because they are not trying to align to the objectives, so then we had so much discussion how to solve the problem, and giving a clear goal, giving them a clear goal and objective for one specific small strategies that we started. For that goal, we have given that the vision statement as a product marketing global team. I want to product and brand consumer product, one specific brand consumer product, so that people get value from new product lines. Okay, now this is their goal. They don't have to think anything else. Very specific brand, from brand marketing perspective, content marketing perspective, IT specific, communication specific. Everyone, their goal vision is this one, nothing. Okay, and based on that, they have two tasks. One is conduct the research of the product, and also it's a big broad product. If you talk about product line, there are multiple product lines. So then one specific product line. So then based on customer journey, and they created small strategies and also strategies, and based on that they try to allow them to experiment. And in next 3 to 4 months they evolved. They came up with ideas which no one could have anticipated, with only 6 people. And their productivity and also accountability and also the respect for each other has grown, because they've learned new things. And this is perfect epitome of what we call it T-shape. And every individual right now, when it has been almost around 1.5 month, 1.5 year month now, 1 year month now, the way they have evolved. I mean, I'm almost in towards the end of the consulting journey with them, and the way they have evolved is, I'm 100% sure they can sustain another 2 to 3 years without I mean, as a team, without breaking the team, because they are so much close. They understand the emotional side of it, emotional conflict of it, and they support each other the same way that you cannot anticipate in last 1 year how they have evolved. That is something, my journey that has been, I'm proud to share, and that is something I've seen in for a global team. So based on that, I've also experimented with other teams, and it has really done justice for those teams, justice for that kind of customer segmentation, understanding, structuring your own people, our own talent in that scope, and trying to align. What best I can think, and how agile journey has helped is, as an individual team player or individual person, you have skill set and you have competencies on that skill set. Right now the problem is, the skill set you normally don't add, you normally try to only act on competency. The problem of competency is, your competency level is measured based on the result only. Competency can also change if new person joins is who has much more competency than you. Then the skill set that you have will have no value. Again, this is the concept that is continuously evolving. We normally organization fire people there for that reason only. And this kind of team changes everything. That means there is no competency challenge, because they're adding skills. Okay, and that is something I enjoyed, and that is something I enjoyed as a personal life also. I also have seen that how it can be more valuable, how it can be more towards business agility. Okay, so I have one more one more Menti graph that I wanted to share. Then I'll share you one small slide. Then I'll be happy to take any questions if you like. Let me share the screen. I'd like you guys to explore the questions that I have shared there.
Same here before Satya.
Yeah. No, this is slightly, I mean, just a minute. Why agile approach? Okay. Yeah. Now it's about customer segmentation.
21.
Why understanding your customer is one of the biggest value add for your marketing team. Not only marketing, let me uh, complicate it a bit. So now I'll change this. Okay. Now it's based on your relation, how will you relate to your own customers, users also. Okay, sustainable. Sorry, let me refresh the page. Okay. 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 Better final product, empathy. Your yeah, your each and every customer is different. Their expectations are different. Yes. Better products, empathy, sustainable, right product. Wow. Perfect. Thank you so much. And perfect. We have others also. Value of product, business needs. Great, great, great. Vision can be clear, right product. Perfect. Thank you so much. And I want to show you one, one framework that I've been using for coaching and enterprise. This is Agile Marketing Framework, and this is ideated by me. I've been working, and this is a very early version, so I've already evolved it to, version 5 or version 6. So your marketing office can be, can be linked to the organization agility in this way. So I have really taken some time to explore, and also the whole dimensions, experimentation, failure, and everything. And this model has really been successful. And this is my corporate, and this is my product now, patented product. I've been working with few organizations in US and also in Europe, and they are utilizing this as their core framework. So I've been working. Yeah, no problem. I'll be sharing with you guys, no problem. Okay, so this is, I'm just trying to give you that one customer segment is a very small part of the game, and bigger game is somewhere there. And also this is so much years of failure. So I will tell failure is the biggest learning. And uh, in the whole journey, I've evolved the whole framework that wise, and it is successful. Now I can very easily say that it is. Uh, yeah, it's about complete adoption to transformation, marketing adoption to not only scaling it is, because it's not very specific to one area or one practice, because it talks about from a broad level strategies to a small strategies, how they will break into a smaller, so that it is much more actionable. Okay, so that's it from my side. I think I've done justice to time. Extremely sorry if I missed some timeline. Again, how do you want to help them live the customer experience? Talk to them about anything that you're trying to create, integrate cross functionality with outcome, and also empower team to have more decision making and accountability, that you believe bring the client and agency together as a team. Sometimes you work with the agencies, then how do you align that? Pull compliance and legal into creative process. That is very important. Sometimes last moment you realize that something is not going correctly or going right way. Be your best self. Remember, you'll always learn. Okay, because I normally consider that perfection is myth. Is myth, and you cannot be a perfect. If you're perfect, you're dead. So that is my learning that I've learned from my experience. And to be honest, from most of the, I mean, I'm not see, to be honest, these practices I've been experimenting, and I failed so many times. Again, Suresh also knows my journey in that way. And sometimes you feel like, okay, I know Scrum, why it's not working. You should have worked for that team. It is not working. What is the reason of not working? Then I realized the problems are different. Every individual problem is different, and their decision point is different than what we see in IT teams. So I also had one small, regional Scrum gathering, one fun, fun conference. Also fun part I've done is like how we understand marketing differently, why there is need of understanding. So if you like, I'll share those slides also. This is something a bit satiric. People really liked it, but again, it's about our approach. Not everything is fit or fit. So if you say that Spotify model for your, if you pull and you'll add it in your organization, it will work. It is not going to happen. So the problem is we are trying to force agile into business agility forcefully, without experimentation, without knowing each individual's role, and without knowing their own accountability cycle or dependency cycle. We are trying to force an idea which might not fit for them. Again, from a mindset, values, principle, those are same at the organization level if you have to talk about business agility, but the process is slightly different. So I normally call it SPC model. Don't consider it with safe SPC. I'll just give you uh, only 5 seconds. Okay, H is your strategy, P is your process, biggest one is change. So these three things has to talk to each other. I mean, your strategic direction process has to be interlinked. The biggest problem is we don't have anything for change. So that is only change log if you are familiar with that term. I mean, from a project management or project life cycle. So that is something very difficult. How do you help every individual to change? How do you help every teams to change? How do you help the whole organization to change? That's a big shift that we need. And uh, we need support from you guys who have been practicing agile in IT and other functions, to help them out, to help them to grow. Then only you can reach towards that kind of a utopian world. And I'm seeing that, I'm being very honest, I've seen that. I was also surprised, how can this possible? This is never possible. That is only in books you will be able to see. But if you really talk to those people, I mean, wow, I'm amazed to learn those experiences. And in last this 9 month, I've already done more than 20 to 30 learnings. I mean, of course, non-certification, this is never a certification. And I've really seen the teams are evolving. And I really think that this is next thing, because without having right people, without understanding people's perception about what they need, whatever we build will not be practical, will not be effective. And thank you so much. That's it for today. Of course, we'd like to join again. I'd love to join again. Thank you, Suresh, for giving me this opportunity. Okay. S is strategy, P is process, C is change. So I've been using for last Suresh in that webinar also, in that conference hall. I created that in that conference hall, right? So in a fun way, right? When we were working for that organization, I created that model, and this is applicable right now. So in transformation, I'm applying the same model. So thank you so much for Suresh for inviting me in short notice. Also for me, I've added those slides because that was part from it. Extremely sorry if I miss anything, miss any disconnected in some way. And I'm love to hear from you your experiences. And if you can unmute and ask any questions for if we have 5 minutes, then I'm very happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. So let's see if anyone has questions. Yeah.
Perfect, Asha. Of course. So I'm also writing a book. Change is, real. So I already have a book. Very few people know about that. So I've already written one book, Agile Outside IT. It's available in Amazon. So I will share the copy of that book and also this approach, and you'll see a different world together from a business agility perspective. And if we, I think, don't have question, I think uh,
Hey,
we
one,
can pick
no
it up.
questions. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, earlier I thought I was talking, but it was not going. Anyway, thanks, Satya. Let's see if anyone has any other questions.
Yeah.
Just wait for a few seconds, and if there are no. Okay, sure. Thanks, Satya, for joining us and giving some knowledge on this. I think this is absolutely very good. And that framework, especially, I think I have not seen it before. So, I mean, I have
Yeah,
seen very, very preliminary things, but I think this has evolved very well. I think that's a very good, hopefully, it will be useful for many of the industries and the companies. So that's it. So I mean, I'll reach out to you if anybody reaches out to me with any questions. But if you are able to share any material or anything, kindly send to me. That can be shareable to others. So
sure,
that I
sure, sure, sure.
can share it with
And also, don't worry if you want to utilize the framework, even if it is copyrighted and patented to me, you can use my name and you're happy to experiment on that idea. So I am not a materialistic kind of person. The ideas has to be shared. I'll use that, share the framework. If you want to use it, your marketing team, if you want to use it, any transformation or team transformation, that same approach, welcome. You can just make sure that you add my it must, that much is enough. Okay, I don't need any copyright challenges or anything. I'm very, very open on that. Whatever I have created, that is my heart and soul, you can take it, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Suresh. And
Yeah.
I think we are in break time.
Thank you,
Yep.
Satya.
Take a
Yep.
short break now. So it is 8:12. So we'll take a 10 minutes break and then we'll come back at 8:25. So which is like 12 minutes from now. We'll meet for another
Okay.
minutes and then we'll discuss real quick on the Agile and HR application and then we'll call it off. Yep. So let's take a quick 10 minutes break and we'll be back.
Perfect.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. We have about 30 minutes to go. Not a long session, but I would like to focus more on your learnings rather than anything else. But before that, we'll just look at one small case study on how Scrum is applied outside IT in another field other than marketing, particularly in HR. Okay. Uh, I keep giving this example in almost all my classes in terms of describing the Scrum roles. So several teams I heard, some of my friends' own organizations have been using Scrum in HR as well, and they said it's working very good for them. Of course, it doesn't mean that they're entirely successful. It takes a lot of time to get there and to practice certain things to change the mindset as well, because HR also has been a very, very traditional function for a long, long time. Maybe 50 years ago, there is something called as a human resources as a term that was coined, and somewhere the human word is dropped in between and the resources was finally left, and we all call ourselves as resources, right? Which is like, something,
Unfortunately,
unfortunately, yeah, very, very unfortunate. And as if we are like some gadgets or some furniture that can be replaced simply with somebody else, which is actually not the case, right? So recently I have attended one webinar as well, Scrum in HR. So I thought that is very, very interesting. So let me quickly share my screen. Okay. So this is a little complex thing. I don't think we will really read and go through all of them. This is just a small complex view about what a HR department or a team is in general. They engage, the HR team engages clients like the other customers and the other employees within the organization. They grow, they build, they promote talent, they develop culture that is required for the organization. They work with several teams. As I said, I picked up something from that webinar, which is a great learning for me as well. And I wanted to share their case study, but quickly move on from this as well. Okay. So some of the principles for Agile HR, and I have seen these happening in organizations, so I thought I could share this as well. This is more from a HR standpoint. So just, I don't know if anyone is there in this team, in this group from a HR team, but just imagine you are the HR. So you're actually doing Scrum or doing Kanban or trying to transform into an Agile way of working, right? So some of the principles, you should also think about as a HR team is consult and talk to your stakeholders more often than not, which is generally the gap that most of the employees keep complaining in any organization. You know, doing Scrum or anything will actually help bridge that gap to some extent, right? Overall, be transformation or the change agent, right? Renew the current processes, be it recruitment, be it orientation, be it promotion, performance development, career framework. So I have seen some case studies as well, where, for example, performance management is one of the best areas where you can apply Scrum, right? And individual development, employee engagement. So these are some of the areas where you can actually apply your Agile values, Agile principles, the Scrum practices, and other Agile frameworks practices as well, and it works beautiful well. And of course, cultural transformation is always not just about the IT teams or the hardware teams. It is also about the overall organization, which includes very much the HR team as well, right? So focus on the overall culture. And one major aspect that I have seen where HR teams can help transform the organization is uh, focus on managers and focus on their transformation from managers into more of leaders. And one aspect that I can think of is help them learn and coach individuals, because coaching is one way to solve problems. And nowadays, coaching is a technique that is embraced by several managers and several leaders as well. So as a HR, that's one thing that they can look at, how coaching can help, how servant leadership can help management solve their problems, right? So these are some basic principles. Again, these are some things that I can also share in case you're interested. So one case study, it's about a multi-million dollar company which is pretty much into non-IT field and which is more into engineering, construction, and kind of domains, and which is about 25,000 employees. There are 5 different departments and several locations across the globe. Now, the objective for them is to create one standard culture, which is more people friendly, and that was the objective that they have started with. And they say that Scrum pretty much helped them. So what did they do? They started something like what we do in Scrum teams, create a backlog, something like an opportunity backlog or a HR backlog or something of that sort. Have multiple cross-functional teams. Some are of course software teams within the HR, some are non-software teams, and use that value stream approach. Some of the other notes that I have here is, they used to invite real stakeholders who are nothing but the other employees to sprint reviews every 2 weeks, I think, which was great, right? So showcase. And it is not just about creating HR software. It is more about bringing a change culture in the organization, bringing the change strategy in the organization, and revamping the existing policies. So, and the policies are best impacted or most impacted are the employees, right? So invite them as stakeholders, conduct sprint reviews, ask for feedback, inspect, and adapt. So this HR department has been brilliant in bringing that kind of change strategy and new policies which are acceptable, taken feedback and implement over a period of time. Of course, the releases did not happen every sprint, but maybe a couple of sprints once every couple of sprints. And they also maintained their impediment backlogs. They kind of trained their people in servant leadership and other Scrum aspects. So it worked brilliantly well. And apart from this case study, I have a couple of other case studies that I can share. This is also there. The link that I normally share, I will put it on the chat box here. This is on the PremierAgile website itself, Agile Outside IT. There are more than 100 case studies. and HR is one section. So there are other sections like manufacturing, construction, legal, government, sales, pre-sales. Agile is useful in several those areas. So I can share that link wherein you can find something on HR as well. This is not there. This is a different case study, right? So apart from that, there are other areas where pretty much HR can use some of this agile mindset, the agile thinking in areas of performance management, and new hire onboarding, mergers and acquisitions, where HR is trying to bring a unified culture, especially when there are two organizations merging into one. Of course, the cultures are different. It is not so easy to transform, and they always have a day one, which is the transformation end of that two companies, and then HR is pretty much ready for that cultural transformation as well, talent development, career framework. But one interesting aspect here is, as per Forbes, there are 3 new HR roles emerging, which are in line, not the 3 roles in Scrum, but at least one of them is pretty much in line. This is more of a recruitment or a talent management Scrum Master who has, had been helping and removing impediments for the recruitment teams, for example. Right. So this is one very, very commonly used function these days in HR recruitment, right? And each have their own recruiting teams or something like a development team that we call in Scrum, right? So this is one of the roles. The other one is more of a people analytics director who is trying to get feedback real quick. Earlier, the feedback loop with the HR team was very, very long. So this, by the way, the first recruiting Scrum Master is something that was done in a GE. So the 3 roles that I'm going to show here are coming from real world analysis and surveys done on several organizations like GE, IBM, Forrester, and so on. So the first one is a live example in GE. The second one is more of an IBM example. And the third one is more of a Forrester example. So these are certain new roles which are focusing more on people rather than just following a HR function, right? And people tend to get feedback. It's not just about having fun. It's also about engaging with the employee in a more positive manner, trying to take their feedback and feed it back into the system and actionize some of those things. So the feedback loop has been brought shorter and shorter in some of these organizations, and it's real value add, right? Like Satya, my area of interest is also help people in terms of how agile can be applied outside the IT world, and HR is definitely one of the interesting areas for me as well. So in case anyone is interested, in case you're talking to your HR and then see how they can apply, and you need help, please reach out to me. I'm more than glad. That's not a consulting assignment. It's not a consulting assignment. It's purely out of my passion. I can just work with the HR team or the HR director in your company offline, and we can discuss certain strategies on how their team can do HR and not just the software team, right? And I'm not going to charge for that. I'm reinforcing that statement.
Thank you. Just a question, Suresh. Did you say GE is using recruiting Scrum Masters?
Digital, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's all. I don't have much. As I said, I did not go deep because I'm not a HR myself, but I would like to share those real case studies and just scratch that little surface and then leave it to the rest of you. And you can take it to your HR teams, or if yourself is part of some organization or a HR team, maybe you can discuss. We can have a conversation offline and figure out how.
Do you have, I know this is not the forum, but just a quick question. Do you have any experience with education and Agile, with Scrum? Because that's my passion, education.
Since we are a small group of about 15, and I would like to hear from you as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 groups. We are already at 8:40. So this is going to be a very, very short session for about 10 minutes. And I'm going to put you into 2 separate rooms. And I want one of you to take the role of a facilitator in that group and just talk to others, figure out, I mean, it's going to be a group discussion, but figure out if you have implemented Agile in outside the software world, anywhere. As I did not mention this, but one of my friends did trekking in Mount Himalayas using Agile, some of that Agile thinking. Another guy has written a case study on LinkedIn that they have gone on a biking journey for a few weeks, I guess some 6 weeks or so in India. And that's a team of people who did that, and they use some of this Agile thinking. Right. So if you have applied or come across some real world story like that, please discuss, not a lot of time, 10 minutes. And the facilitator, if you could kindly make those notes. Okay. You decide who is going to do that. So I'll leave it to you, but I'm going to make 2 breakout rooms. So summary, 2 groups randomly allocated, 1 facilitator each. You decide who's going to make those notes. List or briefly discuss about if you have implemented Agile outside the IT world. Come back, provide a quick summary, and then we will be done for today. Okay. So quickly and coming up with some small examples, because anything starts with small, right? Incrementally. Hopefully we all will be able to implement more and more of these Agile values and principles in other walks of life. But just last 2 minutes and then we are almost done. Okay. So I'm sharing the screen just for a small closure information. So this program, whatever you attended just now, 2 hours, you can add 2 units, 2 SEUs to your certification. If you are already a CSM or a CSP or any Scrum Alliance certification, if you log into your Scrum Alliance dashboard, on the top right corner, you will see my dashboard. Under that, when you click my dashboard, you will see this screenshot on the right side, manage SEUs. You click manage SEUs, then you will be able to see another screen where it says add SEUs. You select this activity type. There is a drop down, events, volunteering, things like that. So you can add this event there. You can give some description like Premier Wednesday, Agile Marketing, HR, and other, you can say, and then here you can add 2 hours, then you click submit. That's it. So automatically your SEUs will be added, which are anyways free of cost. And apart from that, so these are the various categories: events, learning, volunteering, other. So you can check out scrumalliance.org for more details about this. And you know how to reach out to us. This is a kind of conclusion. So if you have liked this event, if you think there is some small value at least in this event, just encourage your friends to join next time, or you also should join. And if you're able to give a small quick recording for about a minute or two about the Premier Wednesday, not about the CSM CSPO class, about this event, it is really helpful for me to just reach out to other audience across the globe. And our next event of Premier Wednesday is on February 3rd, obviously a Wednesday, 2021, because we are trying to do one event, one Premier Wednesday meetup every quarter, about second month in that quarter. And the theme as of now is on Agile product ownership. So we are probably deep diving into a couple of product owner topics. And we don't know the agenda yet, but that is a theme. Okay. And the website is going to be updated to this effect probably in the next few days. And if you're interested, please register. Yeah. With that, I think we are pretty well with time boxing. As always, we are at 9 p.m. India time. And thanks once again for joining. I just want to share one last link, the Agile case studies that I was talking about. That's the Agile outside case studies, Agile outside IT case studies, more than 100 of them. And majority, there are like several links I collected and it's working pretty well. I checked out. So please go through it, a lot of case studies, and I hope it will be helpful for all of you. Yep. Thank you once again and have a great Agile journey, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Suresh.
Yes, little thanks to you.
See you on Saturday, Suresh.
Thanks, Suresh. Yeah, have a nice day.
See you on Saturday, Suresh.
See you on Saturday. Yeah, just 2 days to go.
I've crash landed in those courses.
Thanks, Suresh.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
See you. Bye. Thanks, Satya. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Suresh. Bye.
Thanks.